Welcome to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host and top Latina peak performance speaker. Each week, you will learn from top experts in the speaking industry, insider secrets of what works and what doesn't, so that you can monetize your expertise. My intention is to be your speaking coach, to provide you with resources and experts that have done it before you so that you can get your message out into the world faster and easier. Enjoy the show.
Alrighty, welcome back to Be a Paid Speaker Now. I am Chandra Brooks, social entrepreneur and author, and I am sitting in today for the wonderful Deborah Deras and her wonderful podcast. I am going to be interviewing our wonderful host, and I'm super excited. Deborah has inspired and synergized hundreds and thousands of people worldwide. Her clients include organizations such as Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, Macy's, British Petroleum Oil, State Farm Insurance, Kaiser Permanente, New York Life Insurance, and General Electric. She served as a spokesperson for Verizon Wireless campaign, Empowerment Through Technology, in which she shared the stage with Eva Longoria. She is the author of Confessions of Adrenaline Addict, How to Be Successful Without Compromising Your Health and Well-Being. Deborah is committed to empowering experts to get their message out into the world and be paid for their expertise. Please help me welcome my friend and host of this wonderful Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast, Deborah Deras. Woo! Hey, Deborah.
Woo! The crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can't clap for yourself, who can?
Exactly. You must clap for yourself. So, yes. Welcome to your show. We switched seats today, and we're interviewing you. How do you feel about that?
I feel fantastic because I can't get enough time with you. I just love being with you. And she was so good on the podcast. I interviewed her twice. So I just wanted her back as much as possible because out of all of my 29 episodes, there's just something special about you. And I just want to keep you in my life and share you with my people. And so I'm so grateful that you agreed to interview me. Thank you.
No, thank you for trusting me to do this because this is your baby. This is your show. And I feel honored that you asked me to do this and to be the one to interview you. So thank you for that honor. We have several questions for you because you are the expert. You're always interviewing other people and getting their perspectives and their expertise. And we were like, you know what? We got to hear it from the girl, from the one who does this all the time. And so I'm going to just jump right into some questions. Are you ready?
I am born ready.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so tell me a little bit about how you've been or how you got into being a professional speaker.
It's so interesting because it's most people or most speakers you talk to, it's not like when they were little, they said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be like Tony Robbins or be a professional speaker. Maybe some of the millennials now, but that was not my intention. My intention was always to be a teacher. And I feel that speaking allows me to do that. Like when I was a little girl and we used to play house, back in my day, we didn't watch Xbox. We like kicked around a box. And the other thing that we did was we played school. And I was, of course, always the teacher with a flip chart.
Way.
And I'd have the kids in the neighborhood sitting down and I'd be speaking to them. What I would be saying, I have no idea. But I had no intention of being a speaker. I started out actually in my major with marketing. I got my business
Deborah, can you hear
undergrad
me?
in marketing. And then my brother, that was 16 years old, suddenly passed away from an epileptic seizure. And when that happened, it was a turning point in my life where I realized life just wasn't about making money and business. It was also about making a difference. And I really was committed to my career being about making a difference. And I didn't know you could do both at the time. I thought you could either make money or make a difference. I didn't know you could be abundantly paid to do what you love, which I know now. However, I didn't know it then. So
Deborah,
I changed my major to counseling, got my master's degree in counseling and education, in fact, special education. and got a full paid grant. That's how you know you're on purpose, when the universe pays for your skull. Because I really needed it at the time, because I don't think I was going to get a master's degree unless it was going to be paid for. And then did a career, 15 years, as allegedly, I say allegedly, to a counselor for people with disabilities. But actually, what I ended up doing was marketing and speaking. I hosted job fairs and helped people, over 4,000 Latinos with disabilities, to get jobs. And that was my career that I created for myself at a state of California organization. And when my boss and I realized how great we were at marketing and speaking, we both decided we needed to quit because it wasn't just a glass ceiling, it was like a plug. We weren't going to go any higher with more education or the harder we work. So the only way to rise up was to do something else. And I started a life coaching business called Passionate Living Now, to help you live purposely,
Mm-hmm.
prosperously, and passionately. And I realized, in order to grow my life coaching business, I needed to learn how to speak. So I went to Toastmasters just to be able to do an elevator pitch, and ended up booking my first paid speaking engagement from my Toastmasters meeting. So that's how I
Wow.
got started
Wow.
back in 2002, was my
Okay,
first
so you've
gig,
been
paid
doing it
gig.
for a while now, right? So, like, yes, so
Oh,
wonderful.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I think that, like I said, you're always interviewing everybody. So it's good to get your background and your perspective and how you started this. Next question. How are you booking speaking gigs? How do you do it every day? What does your life look like when you're trying to do this thing?
I love it. So, every day is so different, because in addition to speaking, so I'm speaking, but I'm also doing coaching and group coaching and marketing consultant, and I do corporate training. So it is what I've learned. And I read this book, by Jennifer White, called Work Less,
Mhm,
Make More. Because my book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, I talk about how I completely burnt out by working, 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 and thinking that I needed to kill myself in order to book paid speaking engagement, or kill myself just to have a business. Because as an entrepreneur, it's never ending. You could literally work 24 hours a day and still not finish your
oh
to
my
do list.
goodness,
Am I
you are
right,
so right. Yes,
Chandra? It is it's like there's always website improvement and branding and this and
yes,
taking
always.
everything to the next level. So I realized that I needed to be a lot more strategic, because a lot of speakers are great at what
Mhm,
they do, speaking, but they may not be great at marketing, or may not be great at branding, or may not be great at selling, or may not be good at organization or operations. And one of the things that I read in that book was to create strategy days, because another book I read that I love, called The E Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth, where it says most people are working in the business where they're speaking, training, coaching, but not on the business where they're
mhm,
business developing. So I realized I had to actually create at least 20%,
mhm,
which for me is 2 days of the week, where
mhm,
it's just strategy. It's just time that I'm building my website, that I'm working on my sizzle reel, that I'm working on my press kit, that I'm working with a copywriter on my website, or whatever income producing activities that's going to get my speaking to the next level. And it's so important
mhm,
to have systems. For example, one of the systems that I use to keep my brain organized, because if you didn't already know,
mhm,
I'm super
mhm.
ADD. Okay. So for me to accomplish anything, I literally have to seatbelt myself to a chair because it's really easy for me to speak
Right.
and really easy for me to train, but to sit down and like get something done, I have to be so laser focused. I
Mhm.
actually have a timer that helps me to single task. And I talk about this in my book, rather than multitasking, doing a million things, single tasking, where I'm
Yeah.
responding to a proposal. Like I've been working on one speaking engagement where, and because you were
Mhm.
my accountability buddy or
Yes.
my support cheerleader, I'm like, okay, I'm on level 6 of this process. Now they want a topic. Now they want a bio. Now they want a proposal.
Yeah.
Now they want a this. Now I want a that. So it's really being available for these speaking engagements, because the majority of the speaking gigs that come to me through my website or through my email. Now, I know
Mhm.
a lot of people that do a lot of like outbound marketing where they're making 10 calls a day or sending 20 emails a day. My business, because of my marketing background and because of my social media strategy, I haven't
Mhm.
had to do that. It's
Mhm.
not that I couldn't do that and get more speaking gigs, but I don't want more speaking gigs. I
Mhm.
really, honestly, one of the things I've learned in my 16 or no, 17 years speaking. What year are we in? I don't even know. From 2000,
2019.
from 2002 to now, for my
17.
17 years of
Yep.
speaking, is that we are in charge of our business and how we want to do our business and
Mhm.
whether we want to speak every week or once a month and so I was at a point in my career nonstop, living out a suitcase and just going from city to city, not even knowing what day it was, what city I was in. And now in my life, that's not the lifestyle I want. So I create speaking engagements that work in my lifestyle. And I rather have higher paid speaking engagements and less of them than more lower paid speaking engagements and a lot of them. So for me, it's not about quantity. It was
Mhm.
before when I first started. I'm like, the more, the better. But that was my adrenaline addict that just thought that activity was productivity and my ego was just wanting to have that accolade. Now my ego, that's not my amigo, is not in the picture or is in the
Mhm.
background trying to
Yeah.
get a spotlight, and I am more aligned with what my vision really is, which is to be a vessel and a messenger to transform the world. And the only way I could be a messenger and a vessel to transform the world is if I'm healthy. And I
Right.
know for me to be healthy, I need to be home quite a bit. So
Right.
I
Right.
don't speak as much as I used to, but my fees have definitely gone up, and I'm very
Right.
excited about that.
Yes.
And so, that's how I do things. I use social media marketing, I use video marketing, I use email marketing, and the law of attraction.
Right. And can I just chime in on that a little bit? And do
Yes.
you feel that people that are just starting have to maybe be the ones to seek out, like when you first started, were you seeking out more and having to spend a lot more time seeking out? But since then, and with all your years of experience, you've been able to develop that reputation. People know you're a speaker. It goes off of referrals. Maybe you get some referrals. You have a social media strategy where you're not actually having to seek them, but it's they're coming to you, the opportunities. Do you think that comes with experience and
For
people knowing your name and referring you?
For me, it has always been like that, but my strategy from the beginning was speaking. So, how
Mhm.
I've always gotten booked was speaking. And one of the things I say for people that are new, and I teach this in my Be a Paid Speaker Now course, it's like after confidence, the second module, which is clarity. And I
Mhm.
say clarity is cash. So,
Mhm.
if you know who your target market is, which for me has always been Latina professionals,
Mhm.
then what you need to do is to get your body in front of Latina, whatever your niche is, Latina professionals, and speak. And I did it at no cost. I hate to say free because
Yeah.
it wasn't free. They were getting tremendous value. And for me, it was a marketing activity. So when I
Mhm.
first started, actually before even 2002, like in 1999, I volunteered to start a Latina entrepreneur network as part of an existing Latin Chamber of Commerce. And
Mhm.
I like volunteered for this, but it was like the best marketing thing I could ever do. So I
Mhm.
volunteered to do a monthly meeting where it was networking for Latina professionals. But of
Mhm.
course, I was the host. So
Mhm.
every single meeting, every month for like several years, I was speaking for like 20 or 30 minutes plus hosting the meeting. And
Mhm.
from that is where I got the State Farms and the New York Lifes and even Princess Cruises and many others that you didn't say in the introduction. Because what I did was, I would speak and then everyone would get on my email list. And then once a month or twice a month at that time, I was sending out a newsletter, all the places that I was speaking. And then people would ask me to speak for them. But I was very, very visible. And I also was in a lot of in the National Latina Business Women's Association and one other group. I usually recommend that people get involved and visible in two networking groups where your niche market is and
Mm-hmm.
be a
Yes.
speaker there. And
Right.
so the best way for me, and I think for anyone that's a great speaker, because how are people going to know to hire you, but to hear and experience you?
Right.
Now we have the benefit because we didn't when I started. When I started, I didn't have a YouTube channel. So like if you didn't hear me speak, you just had to take my word for it or testimonials. So I had to do a lot more footwork in the beginning. As
Mm-hmm.
time went on and with social media now, I can throw a video up. Like my last huge contract that I got, um, I don't even know if we should say it about the chicken one, my chicken money,
Yeah.
my
Can't
chicken
disclose
contract.
it. Chicken
It
money.
was for
Inside joke.
putting
Inside
up.
joke.
It's an inside joke. It's
Yeah.
putting I put a video up on Facebook. That Verizon contract that I talked about, which was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Mm-hmm.
a year's salary for me. That contract was from putting up a video on YouTube. So
Wow.
once you're great at speaking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you're also great at the marketing piece. So, and the marketing piece is understanding the pains and problems of your target audience. And your target audience is not the people that benefit from you, the Latina professionals in my case. It's the people that are going to hire you, the organizations, the associations. So,
Right.
speaking to their pain when you're doing your marketing videos, but then also the SEO, the search engine optimization, the tagging, and making sure everything's labeled correctly. So, the combination of those pieces, number one, talent. Number two, positioning. Number
Mm-hmm.
three, getting the visibility online now. You could position yourself. So I have not ever in the past did cold calling, or I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it in the
Yeah.
future.
Right.
But for me, that's not how I've done it. It's always been through actually speaking, word of mouth in person,
Mm-hmm.
and word of mouth online.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Great. Thank you. I think that everybody has their own strategy, but it's good to hear from a longtime professional that has been doing this, exactly how they work and what has worked and what hasn't worked. So thank you for that. What strategies do you recommend for speakers coming from your personal experience?
So I definitely one of the things that after you have clarity is cash, knowing who is your target market,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to really cultivate the leads. And how you're going to cultivate the leads, there's three basic things that I think almost everyone on every podcast I interviewed said to have, and I absolutely agree. One is a website. So
Mm-hmm.
your website really has to have your bio, which I recommend having a copywriter write, your speaking topics, and then social proof, which is
Right.
testimonials, people that have hired you. And when I say hired you, when you first start, maybe you don't have paid gigs, but people that have contracted you, even if it's pro bono, that are giving you testimonials. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I would never do a pro bono engagement unless I knew I was going to get a testimonial, because that's your payment in the
Yeah.
beginning. So
Yes.
and what I recommend new speakers, especially in the world we live in, is to get video testimonials. So every time I do a big talk, I'll hire a videographer, which is
Mm-hmm.
not that expensive, especially in Los Angeles where I live. There's so many videographers, and I'm sure you can find someone if you look on Craigslist or whatever. And make sure that they not only get you speaking, but get the audience members that come up to you and say, "You're so fantastic." Get them
Mm-hmm.
on video. Say,
Right.
"Can you say that same thing on video?" Because
Mm-hmm.
that's golden.
Right.
Because people that are going to go to hire you and spend thousands of dollars to book you want to make sure if they're going to invest that money that you're going to deliver. So they're not going to believe what you say on your website. They're going to believe the reviews you have on your LinkedIn. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
believe the reviews you have on Google, which I recommend getting Google reviews because people are going to Google you. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to believe the YouTube testimonials that you have. And so you want to definitely have that social proof. So I recommend that speakers to cultivate leads, have a website, and like you talked about on your podcast, that's why I
Mm-hmm.
loved your podcast, is that sizzle reel.
Yes.
I I even in the very, very beginning when I first started, if you see my first sizzle reel, it's like 14 minutes long. Who has 14 minutes nowadays? But it was like in
Mhm.
2002, and I was super skinny and super young and super blonde, and I had this sweet voice.
Blonde.
And
Okay.
I had blonde in my hair. Oh my gosh, I've just show you my scissor reel.
Yeah.
But that sizzle reel, believe it or not, had me booked for like 7 years. And it's recommended
Mhm.
now to get a new sizzle reel by the National Speakers Association like every
Mhm.
3 years. But I
Yeah.
milked that sizzle reel for a
Yeah.
long, long time. And I've had 3 others since then in 17 years I've had 4 sizzle reels. And now I'm
Wow.
working on my 5th one.
Yeah.
But really, having that dynamic scissor reel. If you want to see a good one, look at Chandra's. Go to her YouTube page or website. It's awesome.
Okay. So, question 3. What resources can you not live without?
Oh, what resources can I not live without? You know what
Yes.
it is? It's my cell phone, my friend. One of the things
Money,
that
money, cell
I,
phone.
one of the things that I got from interviewing you
Mhm.
when I asked you a question on the podcast and I said, "So, do you hire a videographer to, follow you around at all your speaking engagements?" And you said, "No, I recorded it myself." I said, "That
Mhm.
sizzle reel footage was from your own self?" And you said, "Yes," right?
Mhm.
And
Some
so
of it,
what
yeah.
yeah,
Most
so,
of it.
I mean, I have anytime that I do a really, really big speaking engagement that's at a very nice venue, I will hire a video
Yeah.
crew. And ideally, if you can have a 2 or 3 camera shoot, it's better because you want to get yourself from the front, but also the audience reactions and the side. And that's usually like $1,000 thing, but it's obviously worth it if you're going to be using it to book gigs for years. But one of
Mhm.
the things that I started doing is I'm recording every single speaking thing I do. And I do not only speaking engagements, I also do workshops and I do webinars. So I started recording it. And especially for new speakers, it's really important to watch yourself on video.
Mhm.
Besides something like Toastmasters or having a coach, one of the best ways to improve your speaking is to see the things you do, like me touching my hair or how crazy I am with my hand movements. I'm not going to stop, but I am crazy with my hand movements. You just
Mhm.
notice some of the little quirks. So you're constantly refining and improving your delivery because it's not just what you say, it's how you say it and how they receive it.
Mhm.
Because not everyone is your personality type, and not everyone is your style. So it's really important that you're able to present so that the majority of people are able to get and receive, hear, and then take action. Because the speakers that they're going to invite back aren't the motivational rah, rah, rah. In fact, this HR association said, "We hired you because you said you weren't a life coach." Because I said marketing consultant or whatever. They said, "We don't
Mhm.
want a life coach." Because
Yeah.
if to a lot of organizations, even though I do coaching, they
Mhm.
believe that that's kind of more motivational and not as practical and results oriented.
Mhm.
Companies and corporations want to make sure they're getting a return on investment for wherever they're hiring, and they want to make sure that it's solid content that people can apply right away. So
Right.
that's really, really important. So I cannot live without my cell
Mhm.
phone. The other
Mhm.
thing I cannot live without is my lighting, my
Yes.
J-Lo lighting. So I actually broke my lighting over the holidays. I broke everything. I broke my phone. I broke my lighting. It was a wild, wild west over the
Yeah.
holidays. But I just ordered a new one for my Happy New Year present because when you do Facebook lives, and I saw you doing a lot of them over the holidays,
Mhm.
or you're doing YouTube videos, you want to make sure that you look your best,
Right.
and having lighting makes all the difference. So I also can't live without my microphone. I have an amazing microphone for
Mhm.
when I record my YouTube. It was like Rode RODE, $80, so worth it.
Mhm.
So with my great, amazing Android LG V30 phone,
Mhm.
with my lighting and with my microphone and my mouth, I'm in business.
So those are your wonderful resources that you cannot live without. And let me just point out that the resources that you're talking about are resources to keep you visible, right? As part of your social media strategy, that continues to get booked, continues for people to see you, continues to keep you at the top of their heads when they're thinking about a speaker. So those
Exactly.
that's why all of those resources are very important. So thank you for that. It's perfect. So next question: what advice would you give to a newbie speaker that maybe came to you at an event? and was like, "Oh my God, I want to be like you one day. I want to be a speaker." Tell me, what do I need to do to get started first?
I have to tell you, and maybe you find this as well, because I know you coach people that are wanting
Hmm.
to be heard. A lot of people say they want to be speakers, but very few people are ready to do the work that it takes to become a
Yeah,
speaker,
yeah,
right? Am I
yeah.
right? Can I get
No,
an amen on that?
amen, amen, amen.
Amen,
Yeah,
amen. Because being a speaker involves multiple dimensions. One, of course, is the talent for communication. Two is the charisma to be able to light up a stage. And I'm not saying that all speakers have to be super charismatic. There are some speakers that are just, their information is so compelling and interesting that you just like on every word. Like I could listen to like Dr. Greg Braden and Joe Dispenza. And like I love neuroscience biologists, and just,
yeah.
their content is so good. But
Hmm.
it also involves your marketing
Hmm.
and being an excellent business owner. So my advice for new speakers is to really ask themselves is are they willing and ready for the business of speaking? Because the honest to God truth is the actual speaking part where you're on stage is about 5 to 10% of your speaking career.
Right.
Am
Yeah.
I right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I
You could be on
right?
stage
And
hours and
and
hours
let me tell
every day.
and let
Right.
me tell you, that part is great. That
Yeah.
part is great. You have
Hmm.
limousines, you
Yeah.
have champagne in your room, you have fruit baskets, they give you gifts on top of paying you big money. And
Yes.
it's like you feel like you are Mariah Carey or J Lo or Beyonce, whoever your person is. You feel like you are the queen and goddess of the earth. But you don't feel like the queen when you're sleeping on the floor in an airport, when
Hmm.
you're when the flight is canceled and you're in some motel because your hotel is overbooked. Like
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into it that's grimy and
Hmm.
hard and difficult and challenging. And
Hmm.
it is not for the weak sauce. It is only
No.
for the hot sauce. It's like being an actor.
Yeah.
Like there's only a certain number of actors that are actually working.
Right.
And there's usually a short, it's like an athlete as well. There's a
Hmm.
short time span for
Right.
most speakers,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
like because it's very, it takes a lot of energy
Hmm.
and you have to really take care of your health for it to be sustainable. I know a lot of great speakers that were like really ill and couldn't speak anymore because they burn themselves out and it results in illness. So it's so important that you make a decision and really take some time to look at different business models for speaking. Because, like I said, and there's a great book that I recommend called The Wealthy Speaker,
Hmm.
and she talks about in her book how you can really create your business and really take the time to vision how your business is going to look like so you set yourself up for success rather than becoming a slave to the suitcase. Ooh, I made that up. Don't be a slave to the suitcase.
Yeah, no, I think that that is so important, and also that you're very passionate about it. That you really, it's more important about getting that message out, and not about you just having the fame of being on stage, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's so I mean, that's number 1. Like,
yeah.
people that wanna do speaking for fame should do acting or some modeling or spokesperson, something else, but not speaking, because speaking is for people I believe, and these are the people that I coach and these are the people that I work with, people that want to transform the world, people that want to make a difference. And I think you do the same, because people that want to do it for the ego and fame, I mean, you can do it, but it's not sustainable because you can't fake the funk.
Mhm.
And authenticity and vulnerability are so key, not just with social media nowadays, but with getting up to the microphone because people can smell it when
Yeah.
you are just doing the words and you have that
Mhm.
same stock speech every
Right.
time and
Yeah.
you're not speaking from the heart, but you're
Yeah.
speaking from a script. So
Right.
people are smarter now. Back in the day, a lot of people were fooled because there are
Mhm.
people with some charisma, but they'll just give you the words, but there's no soul. So, we're in the day of authenticity and
Mhm.
speaking truth, right? You're all about capital T truth. And
Mhm.
so if you're not in it for that, I don't recommend you come into this industry. So,
Right. Yeah. Good. Very good points. Okay. All right, newbies, you heard it here. Okay, you got to be passionate about it, and you got to be ready to deal with the ups and downs of the industry. So, okay, all right, great. Thank you so much. So this is our last question. Okay. What are the upcoming events and upcoming programs or places that you're going to be speaking? Where can people find you? What do you have going on in 2019?
2019 is a very exciting year. I have a lot of events coming up. And what I recommend that people do is go to my website, which is deborahderas.com, and you can click on my event calendar and see all the places that I'm speaking because there's constantly new events being added. One really exciting event is through the Nazarian Institute. It's called the Think Big Conference,
Mm.
and that's happening on Saturday, January 26th. It's in West Hollywood. Skinny Girl, do you know that Bethany Frankel from
Yeah.
Skinny? She created Skinny Girl Martinis.
Yes.
She's the keynote speaker. So there's three
Mhm.
of us. She's one of the speakers, and then Sheila Nazarian, who is number one woman plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, is speaking on how she created her brand. And the audience is mostly plastic surgeons and how to use social media marketing to grow your business. So it's kind of exciting.
Mhm.
It's really, really cool. But there's also something for everyone. I have a program called Ignite Your Speaking for
Mhm.
people that not necessarily want to be professional speakers, but just want to speak with more confidence, either professionally or in their business. And you can go to igniteyourspeaking.com. I'll have
Mhm.
that in the show notes. I also have an online academy for people that are good at self study. I don't recommend this if you're not going to do it because I don't like people
Yeah.
buying things and not using it. I
Yeah.
don't want your money. Keep your money if you're
Mhm.
not going to do it, but it's called Be a Paid Speaker Now. And it's an 80-page manual with 14 videos of everything I did to get started as a speaker. So when people ask me, can I pick your brain? I'm like, sure you can. My brain is all here.
Yeah.
It's in this
Very
whole
good.
program. It's here and it's really reasonably priced. Be a paid speaker now. And another big, super exciting thing I'm starting is every quarter I do what's called the Synergy Speaker Mastermind, where I coach experts, usually doctors, engineers, professionals that want to let go of their practice and actually hit the stage. And it's a 90-day program where I coach you to be able to take your expertise and to put it. And 90% of the people that have participated in the group have been paid to speak, and the 10% that have not will. And it's only because there's a subconscious block, which by
Yeah.
the way, I help people. That's one of the things that I'm doing that's new this year. It's not new, it's actually going back to my roots. I used to do a lot of NLP training, which is basically what Tony Robbins does, which is get to the subconscious root cause. Because I could coach people till they're blue in the face, but if they have a limiting belief that's at the subconscious level, nothing I say is going to get through to them. So I
Mhm.
started doing private deep sessions at the
Mm.
soul level where we
Mhm.
get to the root cause of your limiting belief and we release it, and it's instant because at the subconscious level it's not past, present, and future, it's now, now, now. So
Yeah.
literally some people, I have one person that in 2 sessions she was promoted to a job and was really terrified because she had to lead meetings, she was so scared to speak, and she was thinking she couldn't take the position and had to be demoted. In 2 sessions, 2 hours of this NLP, was able to totally like release her face. She doesn't even remember it. I'm like, we were going to do like a whole series of sessions. And this
Wow.
is why NLP people, it's not like therapy. It's like you get people and then they're done. So by
Mhm.
the third session, she's already ready to start
Right.
her next phase. So it's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Wow.
I love it. And to me, that's where I feel is my gift. It's
Mhm.
not just motivation, it's
Mhm.
transformation.
Mhm.
I I am committed to helping people have different behaviors to have different results. And so it starts from within. So I do a lot of inner work with people. So that's really, really exciting. So,
Yeah.
take advantage of one or all of it. I'm here to serve you and here to support you. And I'm so grateful for you to ask me these questions. And so I can really get the word out to really make a true difference in 2019.
Yeah, I think that everybody needs to take advantage of what you do and know that you're more than just a host of a podcast, of an inspiring and wonderful podcast, but you have all these other skills that you've been able to acquire over the years from being a paid speaker and being able to share all of your gifts with everybody. So, Deborah, I just want to tell you thank you for allowing me to interview you and turn the tables and let the audience hear your genius and all of your great tips that you have to share and the people need to hear. So thank you so much. I'm honored. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This was fun. This is exciting. And just keep listening, because she's going to have some wonderful guests coming on the show. Right, Deborah? You have some
Oh,
guests that are going to
yes.
be amazing. Okay, good.
They are. And thank you for referring guests. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So before we leave, can you tell them about your exciting thing that's coming up?
Yes, 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 yes. So on January 19th, across the nation, we have the Women's March going on, and I will be the MC of the San Jose Women's March, and it's one of the largest marches in the country. And I'm super excited. We're looking from 20 to 30K, thousand people there, and yours truly will be the MC of the whole event. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh my God. Friend, you're going to have to change your bio, your
So,
intro, your scissor to say Chandra speaks to over 30,000 people. Wow. That is
yeah.
so big time.
That's my biggest audience as of yet, and I think it's just wonderful. Just I was on stage last year. I was a speaker, but to be an MC, and that takes a lot of energy, right? So that we can just add that,
Right.
so people know that when you're doing large events, I
And
have
it's,
to like bring
it,
the energy. I have to keep it lively. I have to like pump the audience up. I have to like introduce people. So I'm going to be totally exhausted by the end of it, but
oh yeah.
it's so worth it because it's a wonderful, purposeful event, but also a great opportunity. So I'm excited.
Wow. We're just going to have to raise your fee big time.
I know,
After this. Love it. Love it.
yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Bye bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. If you love this show, feel free to share it with friends. I believe sharing is caring. And when you write us a great review, your karma points will be adding up. And I'd like to give you something. If you love the show, you can download a free copy of my latest webinar, How to Get Paid 5 Steps to Be a Paid Speaker. You can download it at deborahderas.com, deborahderas.com/speak now. Remember, you are the messenger for the message. And with the power of synergy, anything is possible.